Hi all, and welcome to the first devlog for my indie RPG, Mersia Muses. Muses is a pixel art monster taming RPG rhythm game mashup where you explore the land of Mersia and collect inspiration in the form of muses, creatures powered by your imagination. When I decided to develop a video game during the summer of 2020, I had no development experience and learnt most of what I know from YouTube videos and online resources. My background is in photo video production and real world game making, so my understanding of editing software and how the mechanic of games works was solid. I decided the best thing to do was create a pixel art game for both ease and aesthetic reasons. I was born in '93, so my childhood was heavily influenced by the anime boom of the noughties, with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh consistently falling in my top 10s. So when I looked at what game I wanted to make, a monster taming RPG was top of the list. I also had a few caveats that I 100% needed to be in my game. First of all, it had to be able to be developed on a 5-year-old Chromebook. This was by necessity really, but it did lead to me using Godot engine as my game development engine, as it was the only one that I could install at the time. Secondly, I wanted it to be playable on mobile. I know usually when people think of mobile gaming, they instantly think of a dip in quality. Since Muses is going to be a 2D pixel art game, it should be fully playable on any modern device, and there is a huge breadth in mobile games that are not ad-based or freemium. I wanted to develop a complete game experience with mobile in mind, but that could be ported to any device. And thirdly, it was to be set in my hometown of Liverpool. I wanted to present a story-rich game that explores the lore I'm familiar with. After moving to Toronto in 2018, I realised the importance of a place and how it can culturally impact someone, and coming from the musical capital of the world, I wanted to spread love and culture of the city through muses. So with this all in mind, I set about coming up with ideas. One of the first things that comes up when learning basic game development is developing rhythm games. They get you used to all the basic concepts while introducing the audio to visual connection that is so important to gaming. Many monster taming games like Pokemon feature state machines, which include the overworld your character explores, but when you enter a battle or contest, for example, what is essentially a different game replaces the original, and the player controls work completely differently. I decided to play around with the idea of using other mechanics than the simple 1v1 battle like Pokemon, and include a fully featured rhythm game as one of the core elements of Muses. I do enjoy the turn-based battle mechanics of Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Shining Force, and the like, as they allow you to get easily distracted and are not reliant on constant player focus in the same way that a rhythm game is. You can just put your phone or games console down halfway through a game and come back to it later without ruining everything you've done before. So I did want battles to stay as the main mechanic for progression in the game. However, I did have a problem with these type of games: violence. I am a complete pacifist, and even as a child found it unusual that games we encounter as children have this level of violence. I'm not going to go any long moral tangents here, but TLDR, I wanted the battles in my game to be as non-violent as possible. After playing a few JRPGs again to wet my beak, I decided that an active time battle system, where each muse got its turn determined by a combination of its initial speed, modifiers, and then move on any given turn, was the system I found most fun. And for my non-violent battles, I finally came up with an idea. What if your creatures were summoned like in Yugioh, where even to the characters of the story, they aren't physical beings that can get harmed? This led to an adventure where you, as an up-and-coming musician, have to travel around the land to collect muse stones, which when used with your equipment summons realistic holograms in a battle of the bands. So after a little bit of brainstorming, I had the concept. I was creating a monster taming rhythm game mashup with 96 unique creatures, each with its own song, a fully explorable overworld with companions following you, story-driven narrative inspired by the music capital of the world and Celtic lore, with multiple character save slots, character customization, and quests. So I set to work, and over the past 9 months I have been honing my development skills and now have an alpha demo available to play. The demo doesn't have all of the features mentioned yet, but I'm working to finish everything off before polishing and buffing the art and audio, which I know is lacking. So why am I making devlogs now? Well, the game is in a semi-playable state, and while every day I'm adding more and more, I know what needs to be done. I don't know what aspects of the game are even any good to an objective audience. A few dozen people have already played, but feedback has been minimal. So I wanted to develop a community around the game, while I also develop the game itself. My next major aim for Muses is to complete the demo to a standard I am happy with, but the demo I have now was made while I was still very fresh to game development, and is now just a tangle of superfluous code and resources that have long since gone out of date. After spending a couple of weeks debugging, I have decided that the bad code, as it were, will need to be addressed, but since I am reworking every aspect of the demo, it made sense to me to create this devlog series now, as over the next few weeks I will be retouching every aspect of the game. I hope you'll follow along this journey with me, and like and subscribe to the channel. And also, please play the demo and leave your feedback. Right now I only have Twitter, but more socials will come. Thank you, and goodbye.